Excuse me, just had to blow my nose when I push the live button. Yeah, something. Okay, so we keep going here on the 3-5 cross of Eden. 3-5. This is Adam and Eve. This is the heart of the Eden myth, where you come to the 3-5. It's the heart of the myth. Adam is the 3 and Eve is the 5. You can really see that everything about the nature of the 3-5 is when you're looking at the cross of Eden. This is the 3-5's greatest place. The whole story of the 3-5 is dead. You blunder, your reputation fails, and you run away. And here it's you're limited, your reputation needs to grow. Go out into the world and discover, and don't worry about the fact that life is going to be nothing but pain. You're always going to have the projection that things could be better. And not only that, the moment you go out of Eden, everyone who leaves Eden has the opportunity to be a saint, has the opportunity to be a savior, has the opportunity to be the general, to be the therapist, to be all those exalted fifth line themes. And all the whole story about the 3-5 really is a discovery through the trial and error, and in discovery the ability to be able to universalize. When you throw 3-5 out of, the only response is what else to expect. It's like, well, this is natural. It's like they're turning around and saying to God, this is a mistake. They're just going, all right, let's see. Okay, we figure out something along the way. And this is the basis of it. In all honesty, it's the only way for me to recognize respect for the 3-5 as a profile, because it's a very difficult profile. Again, all of you must remember that as I described all these things, I described them as not self. So you're always getting the hard end. You're always getting the extreme. You're always getting the dirt. And yet at the same time, to really be able to see that if you exalt the 3-5 on this cross, you have our whole process. Our process is discovery through trial and error. And we discover to let everybody else know that this is what is to be human. This is the heart of our process. It's what I feel so dismayed at the nature of the not self 3-5, because the not self 3-5 suffers so much, and because there's always lies within them this potential to universally. Basically, the story of the explosion from Eden has been interpreted by the not self. It's just punishment, the loss of grace, born in sin. Jesus never existed, but that's another story. If there was ever a 3-5 principle, it's born in sin. This is not classic, not self 3-5. The only reason that life's a bitch, the only reason that I suffer is that there must be something wrong with me. Cosmically and mystically, that's basically what it is. I did something wrong. I'm being punished. The ancients that called the earth the planet of suffering. This is the 3-5 not self phenomena. There isn't anything worthwhile to discover other than being able to stay alive. There isn't anything else that leads me back or leads me to what is perfect. You can imagine how many utopians are 3-5. The island is full of 3-5 runaways from just about every country you could imagine. You're just runaways looking for a utopian, looking for a way, which paradise can be found on earth, and all along them being so deeply pessimistic that it doesn't exist. It doesn't. There are two things in the mythology of the garden. There are three. There's the tree of knowledge and there's the tree of life. And this is what the 3-5 embodies. The tree of knowledge belongs to Eve. It belongs to the fifth line. But in this life force, this driving yang yin life force, not yin life force, but yang life force. The yin life force is the cow in the pasture. The yang life force is the force killer monkey. That's it. Here we go. Beat them, whack them, kill them, and eat them. I was saying this morning a wonderful joke that when your daughter mailed me a billboard of Saskatchewan, Canada, in the city of Saskatoon. On this wonderful billboard is a wonderful prosaic scene of mountains and pastures, and there's this huge elk, a big elk standing there. And there's this wonderful line. It says, there's enough room for all of God's little creatures. And underneath it says, right beside the mashed potatoes. This yang force, if we were not penetrators on the material planes, we would not get to the knowledge we need. We just wouldn't. No cow is going to carve up another cow to see how its intestines work. I want you to really grasp that. When you see cows in surgery doing that, let me know. I would love to see that. You don't do that. The 5 doesn't care. The 5 says, let there be cows. And the 3 says, how do they work? It's all a discovering how they work. So they kick the cow and you see how it works, what it does. You kill the cow and dissect it and look inside. And this is how cows work. This is us. It's one of the things about recognizing the tree five what that really presents. There are these two strains. The form that's not just a form, it's for a reason. It's here to be used, it has to be developed, and it's here to be sophisticated. It's to be used in a fuzzy object and a penetrating object. It's the massage brush and also the knife. It's all of these things. All has to be discovered. And what that really has to be discovered and how does everything work, the myth is very clear. The myth says you have to do the whole 9 yards. You have to have the whole thing. You got to figure out the whole story. You have to penetrate to the core. You have to do the whole movie. And you see that we've been doing this endlessly. There isn't anything that we're not aware about peering into. There isn't anything that we won't dig into to check it out. It doesn't matter where it will go. We'll send machines to other planets to do that. That is us. One of the things to be clear about is that every single discovery transforms our form. There's a great line of Muhammad. He said, "Paradise is under every woman's foot." It's a great line. The simplicity of the purity of just fertility, because that's all Eden represents. It's fertility. Fertility isn't enough. There's so much fertility on this planet that that's not what we're here for. We're here for fulfill the ultimate form principle. And the ultimate form principle is that what you get to a point where artificially you can create any form. You want to make you a cow, I'll make you a cow. This is what you're here for. We're here to understand the entire form principle in depth, the whole cookies. As I said, where's the end of the area? The 2027 is going to change the rules of the game. I do the best I can to encourage all my three fives in my life to recognize the power of discovery that's in our hands. That if they can operate correctly, they will enter into those things that go wrong, that will reveal those essential truths that we need to know. And the cross of Eden is where it all starts. But the other thing is that it's the last gate of this half of the quarter. This is the end of the process. The end of the process is really nice. You have to put out into the world and do something with all this stuff. And by the way, when you go in, though it helps to articulate, it helps to be able to mutate others to do something with it. It helps. This is civilization, after all. It's the building of civilization. Civilization is based on the message, on the word. It's all the word. The whole myth of Eden is in the 12th gate. It's the mutation that brought us. There was no Eden before 85,000 years ago. The mutation brought Eden. You look into the polarity of the 11th gate, the gate of white magic, the gate of, oh, I have an idea. Then we get to the 3-6. The 3-6, there are so many false Edens here. There's so many false prophets. The 12-4, the fourth line is the line of the prophet, and the prophet is, and it's the voice in the wilderness, and it's to build up to. So you get the 3-6, and the 3-6 is saying, I feel like a cow in a pasture. And isn't there anyone that can be my shepherd? One of the most interesting contributions to the 3-6 makes on the cross of Eden is that it introduces the introductions that when you're in the world, you need to help. You need guidance, you need direction, you need all these things. It's really important. It suddenly downs on the 3-6 because nothing works for them. Nothing works. Not self works, nothing works, and just end up the next step in the 12-4. Just the next step. There's the prophet that is saying, yeah, hey, it's over here. This works. You want to see the source of influence, the whole nature of the fourth line can be found in the 12-4. The mutated 4 line can anything else. We know that the 3-6, obviously, it can be raised correctly. It can be guided correctly. Yesterday, when I did the daily view, I talked about the third line, and it's always, and as always, whenever I do the third line, I get so much mail from people talking about their third line experience, what it's been, how much of a difference it's made on their life, not to consider their process from the negative perspective. It's not only the not self that leads us to the heart's hands of prophets. Please understand, a 3-6 that's away isn't waiting for a prophet to show up. They say, what the hell do they know? I have my own deep experience. I don't know. You tell me which way I don't need you to tell me which way the wind blows. But in the not self, with all this dysfunction, with all this inability to really have the success that you need, remember this is the quarter of civilization. It's also the material. If you're thrown out of Eden and you go from Eden to something better, you're not bitching about the fact that you're not thrown out. I'm deeply grateful to my father, who is a wealthy man, considered me to be a profligate, gave me something I don't mind having been cut off. This was great for me. Go out into the world and do it yourself. That's my nature anyway. Good for me. I would have pissed my money away. It's not like I would have done anything. Yeah, the burden of being rich, guys. Got nothing to live for. Can only spend it all up.